Well, good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. The Rhino's here. I have this beer here. I actually bought a couple of these, and I'm glad I did. This is actually an old vintage, too. I never realized it until I bought it. I thought it was a fresh one. The old vintage worries me because it is in a green bottle, but I'm sure the brewery took care of it. Luckily, it hasn't been sitting on an LCBO shelf since 2012. So this is a 2012 vintage of Framboise Boon from Framboise Boon. It's from Belgium. It says it's 100% traditional lambic ale. It is 5% alcohol by volume. It says it's best before the end of 2018. So I have 3 bottles of this. I'm glad I bought 3 bottles of it, even if just to age it. I'm going to share 1 bottle at my festival with the other beer reviewers that are here that can't get it. I'm going to age 1 bottle and see what it's like later on. Anyway, 375 milliliter bottle. Ingredients: water, barley malt, wheat, raspberries, sour cherries, hops, and yeast. Best before November 27th, 2018. The Belgian label is just end of 2018 because it's sold in Canada. It has to have the exact date-ish. Contains barley malt and wheat. Okay. Let's just take the cage off. Let's turn it this way just in case it fires. I don't think it's going to, but I've had a few that have fired on their own. Fuck. Have you ever gone that time where you just can't get that grip and it starts hurting right here in this knuckle? That's what's happening right there. Good thing my teeth are hard. Okay, look at that head before it fades. That head has a pink hue to it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's pinkish. The beer, a beautiful ruby cherry red. Well, a beautiful ruby red. It is. It's a deep, deep red. There you go. Deep red, pink head. This is why I get angry when I drink a raspberry or a cherry beer that is golden colored. This is the color it should be if you've used raspberries or cherries in your beer. It should be red. It should be. It really should be. Smell? My God, that smells good. Out of the bottle, the sour cherries come out more. Out of the glass, the sweet raspberry comes out more. Out of the 2 of them, probably like the glass a little bit more, in all honesty. This is what I love smelling in a lambic. I love stouts and I love porters, but sours and lambics are probably my next favorite style of beer. People look at me funny because they don't seem like they would be in the same genre at all. I mean, one is really malt forward or chocolate and coffee and everything else, and the other one's sour and vinous and fruity, and I just love them because they're both slams on the taste buds. They're both so powerful on the taste buds, and this just has made me happy already. I just hope that when I go to drink it, it doesn't take that away from me. Beautiful color. Visual appeal was great. I give it its full point for visual appeal. Scent, just as good. I mean, sweet raspberries, pure raspberries. Almost a raspberry preserve scent coming off because it's a little sweeter than I would normally anticipate from a raspberry. But raspberries, cherries, they're both blowing up in your nose. Your nostrils are picking them up. It's just beautiful and fruity. Let's try the beer. Cheers, guys. I want this. Well, I'm let down. I'm very let down. Lindemann's does a really good cherry and raspberry lambic. Mort Subite does a really good cherry and a really good raspberry lambic. There's a lot of them that do really good lambics on these fruits. This one just doesn't seem to be working right. I don't remember what the yields were like in 2012 around the world for raspberries and cherries. Cherry yields weren't very good 2 years ago, I do believe. Or was it this year that just passed? One of the 2 years... No, it would have been 2 years ago. The cherry yield wasn't very good in North America. I don't know how it was in Europe. But, you do get some cherry flavoring. The cherry is what comes out on the taste more so than the raspberries. Raspberries are there, but instead of getting the sweet raspberry, you're getting the sour pith. You're getting like the little black seeds when you crunch those in your teeth. That's what you're really getting. You're getting the sourness from the seeds. You're getting the tannins from the skin. You're not getting the sweetness from the raspberry itself. A problem? Not really. The problem I'm having, the real reason I'm disappointed, is the way it's all mixing together. The taste is reminding me of the smell of perm chemicals. Why do I know what the smell of perm chemicals are? My mother had an illegal hair salon in her basement when I was a kid. My room was in the basement. From wrestling and everything like that, I'd get home and I'd pass out on the bed because I was exhausted from hours of working out and hours of running and hours of wrestling on the mat. I'd come home and I'd pass out. I'd do my homework at like 4 a.m. when I woke up. But I'd pass out on the bed and I'd wake up to this horrible, horrible, horrible smell as she's perming old lady's hair. That's what the taste reminds me of, the smell of perm. If you don't want to buy the beer to know what that smell is, to know what I'm talking about, go and get a Domingo Wildberry wine cooler. And that's what it reminds me of. Now, that being said, that's the only thing that's a problem with this, is the paradigm that's going off in my head every time I take a sip of it. Other than that, the taste isn't all that bad, but every time I take a sip, the first thing that pops in my head is bang, that. And then I drink it and it's fine after that. The sourness, the tartness is what comes off more than anything else. It's not sour per se, but it's very tart. It does have that sour kick to it. And it's much more sour than it is sweet. You get a sweet touch at the very front of your tongue, and everything else is that tartness to it. I think if it was just sour cherry, I would be perfectly fine with it. And I think if it was just raspberry, I would be perfectly fine with it. I think the two of them mixed together while adding the wheat to it, because the wheat's giving it a heavier mouthfeel, I think, and that weird graininess too. Adding the two of them together, I think, is where my problem is coming, where my mind is shooting on the perm chemical. I think it's the two fruits mixing together. I'm actually sad because I was so stoked. I was so stoked for this beer, and this is what ended up happening with it. This really isn't me. I'm really disappointed. Do I give it under a 5? No, it is a good beer. It's just my expectations were high. What I ended up getting saddened me because of a paradigm of my childhood and because of what my expectations were. What does the beer probably deserve? You know what, as a lambic, it isn't bad. It's just not my thing. It's not what I want in a lambic. It's not what the lambics that I really enjoy come off with. I either like them to be really sour and funky or really sweet and fruity, and this is just tart and bland, really. Let's take one more sip. Yeah, as a lambic, it's good. I'd give it a 7.5 as a lambic. It does hit the notes. It just doesn't hit the notes that I want in my lambic. It's the middle. It's the middle ground lambic. It's a lambic. If you haven't had lambics before, if you're not a lambic drinker, if you're not a big sour beer drinker even, this could probably help get you into the right place. I'd say this is a second step. Your first step is stuff like Monk's Cafe and all that. This would be your second step. For me personally, 5.25. I could drink it. I'm going to drink it. I have them. I have one to age. I have one to share, and I will drink the one that I'm aging to since I bought it. But it's just not. It's not my thing. I won't buy any more other than the 3 I did buy. Thank you, YouTube. Framboise Boon.